Well, it certainly is a big year in Arizona history. Valentine's Day marks the 100-year anniversary of our great state, and the folks over at Arizona Highways, who do it best, have done it yet again, capturing those photos from 100 years, from 1912 through 2012. The editor-in-chief, Robert Steve, here to share a preview with us, and quite frankly, this is, I say this almost every time.
Yeah.
But this is really one. I mean, if we're talking about stick it in your time capsule, this is it.
Yeah, and that's really, actually, that's a great way to describe what we're going for with this issue.
You've encapsulated the last 100 years.
Right, yeah, so maybe 100 years from now when there's a bicentennial, you know, people can look back and say, hey, what was going on?
So what was kind of the idea as you went to go and put content in this?
Well, there's a lot of different pieces in the issue. Sandra Day O'Connor did a piece for us. Hugh Downs did a story just talking about Arizona and what the changes that have occurred over the last 100 years. Marshall Trimble, the state historian, did a piece for us. There's a timeline. There's a lot of things, but the real meat of this issue is the photo essay, which is 100 years in photos. And we looked through thousands and thousands of images. And,
what are we looking at here?
This is actually a shot of a place called Oatman up on Route 66, or what used to be Route 66 up in northern Arizona. And there were so many photos. It was so hard to really narrow it down. You know, you look at that image and it looks like a scene from an old John Wayne movie, and that's because that's kind of what it looked like back then. So a lot of different scenes. We tried to cover as much of the state as we could, different parts of Arizona, and this was our nod to Oatman.
Well, how about Hotel Arizona?
Yeah, you know, again,
what was that?
This was a place down in Tucson. It was one of the three main hotels down there. The Congress Hotel is another famous one that was down there. And what I found looking through these images, I mean, there's sort of the main image, you know, you see the hotel sign there, but if you start digging in a little deeper into these images, you look at the kinds of cars and the clothes people were wearing.
Right.
You read some of the signs on the sides of the buildings and things like that. So there's so much detail in these shots, and that's just one example.
I don't know why it is. Like, you know, pictures that you strip away the color, you strip away all like the glitz and the glamour and the Photoshop, and you just look at the image itself. Yeah. Sometimes those are more compelling than anything fancy you could have ever done. Yeah,
and for us, it's kind of a nice departure. We're known, as you mentioned at the top of the segment, for our landscape photography and all the beautiful images we do every month. It was fun to do some black and white stuff.
I bet it was. Let's talk a little bit about 56th Street.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's Camelback going south. I mean, you look around there and there is no civilization whatsoever. Yeah, that's 56th Street in Phoenix, and that's the Papago Mountains down in the distance there. So I mean, you can imagine, you know, what it must have been like. I mean, there it is.
Look at those billboards. My goodness. Now, how did you get all these pictures?
You know, there are repositories all over the state archives, the Arizona Historical Society and Foundation, our own archives. We have a lot of images at Arizona Highways. And so here's another shot of Tucson. This is Congress Street in downtown Tucson.
I want to take a look at Camelback Mountain here as we just scroll through these, because look at that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. That's essentially Camelback Road. You've got this great studio audience, who, by the way, I want to take back to the office when they can just clap all the time when we do things.
Seriously, how's that for affirmation right there?
And then you know, we did try to cover the whole century, so we've got some current photos, and that, of course, is the new bridge up at Hoover Dam.
All right, well, we're going to provide information, but quickly, where can people pick this up?
It'll be on newsstands any day, and of course, if you're a subscriber, it's probably landing in your mailbox right now.
Right now, go to the mailbox. Run, don't walk, and you can find more information on how to subscribe by going to our website.